Hey everybody, welcome to Kimberly Over Everything. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. So today I wanted to talk with you about what I learned in my 20s. Um or what my 20s taught me or what I wish I would have known in my 20s. Um I think the first thing that comes to mind is um just in my 20s, I thought that um, saying no would make me a bad friend, a bad partner, a bad daughter, a bad coworker. Um, but, um, I just felt pressure to go along with everything, um, to keep the peace. But what I realized is that saying no wasn't rejection, but it was self respect for myself, right? And so um, I used to be the person that said yes to everything just to keep the peace. Um, so um, I remember like I had in my 20s, I had two best friends. And so me and those two best friends, we had um, two standing things that we did each week. Once a week, we would go out to dinner with each other. And then on the weekends, every weekend, we would go get our hair done together, right? So this particular day um, we would normally go and get dinner, we instead of getting dinner, we were going to go to a show, which was going to last for about 2.5, 3 hours. And then after the show, we were going to go get dinner, right? And so, um, and so basically, I, they were like, well, let's go just get something quick because we're going to be starving, sitting in the show. Let's go get something quick. And then after the show, we can sit down and have a nice meal. So we were all like, cool. I was like, cool. And so they were like, okay, we're going to go to McDonald's. Y'all, I don't like McDonald's. I don't have anything against McDonald's. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like it. It doesn't taste good to me. If we're going to go get something quick, I would prefer like a Chick-fil-A or something like that, right? And so I was like, sure, yeah, okay. Knowing good and well, I don't like McDonald's. So what ended up happening is I got McDonald's, I drank my drink, and I didn't eat my food. And so when we got in the at the show that lasted almost 3 hours, I was starving. I was starving because I did not say no. And so what I learned in my 20s is that, not saying no is exhausting. And, you know, I I just wanted to be an agreeable good friend. But what I realized is that it's draining and it makes you end up resenting the people that you don't say no to. And so um you know what I realized is that I wasn't responsible for managing other people's actions, that I could only manage my own actions. And so I had to learn boundaries really quick, in my 20s, and learn to say no and be okay with saying no. And so what I learned and what I started doing with those two best friends, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit this one out tonight. Like, I don't feel like going there tonight. I really want to sit here, or I really want to go to the bookstore, or I really want to do X, Y, Z. And so I'll see y'all on the next go round. But I love y'all and it's gonna be okay. And so what I realized in doing that and learning to say no and being okay with saying no is that I was showing up for Kimberly, you know? Um, so yeah, so that's one thing that I learned in my 20s. I mean, I learned a lot in my 20s, and I'm sure you have too. And I want to hear what you learned in your 20s in the comments. Another thing I learned in my in my 20s is that friendships run their course. Okay. Um, So, you know, people, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, that people are in our lives for a season. Some people are in our lives for a lifetime. But in my 20s, what I had to learn is quality over quantity. In my 20s, I felt like I needed a whole bunch of friends. Like I had so many friends, like, and they were awesome people, awesome women. But for some reason, I just felt like I needed like a plethora of friends, you know? And what I learned, you know, is that it's quality over quantity. And I started approaching my friendships like an intricate circle, right? So you have this circle, and you know, you have the outside of the circle, and as the circle closes, it comes closer and closer and closer, and then you have that circle in the middle, and that circle in the middle is your closest friends, and the outer circle are other friends, right? So what I realize is, oh, like, as long as I have this inward circle, right, of my closest friends, which could be like just one or two or maybe three close girlfriends and when I say close girlfriends, they're my best friends. They're my ride or die. They're people that I can be myself with, people that I can talk to about anything, all of that, right? So, and then what I learned is that, oh, like, these people on the outside of the circle, I learned that, like, they're still friends and good people, but they may not be like in my inner circle. So somebody may be in that outer circle, and it may be a girl that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this girl right here, I love to travel with her. She makes things easy. We can share a room together, and it's nothing weird or crazy or whatever. Like, we really, really get along and we click, and she's adventurous, I'm adventurous, we can travel together. And then I realized, oh, like, I have this friend who I love to go to the movies with, I love to go shopping with, like, we just have a ball together. And then I have a friend, I love to go to the comedy club with her because she is a load of fun. She likes to laugh. And all of these friends represent something different in my life. And I represent something different to them as well. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be in my life forever. And it doesn't mean that they all have to be in that intricate circle, if that makes sense. So I would say, get you a crew. Get you a crew. First, that crew that's in that inner circle, and then, people that you can travel with, people that, that you just like to go to the movies with, or like to go shopping with, or like to go to a bookstore with, or somebody that you can call. And if you had like this embarrassing moment or like this funny thing that just happened to you, like, oh my gosh, I can call her and we are going to kiki together, And then I would say another thing that my 20s taught me is to prioritize my personal mental health. I grew up with a father who was on drugs and alcohol most of my life, right? And so because of that, I had abandonment and trust issues. And so I realized that those abandonment and trust issues were leaking into all of my life. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They were leaking into all of my life, into my marriage, into my friendships, into, my relationship with, other people, my coworkers, etc. Like, I was having trust issues and things of that nature. And so basically, I was like, girl, like, you cannot fight this alone. Like, you have got to go and talk to somebody. And it was the best thing that I could have ever done, y'all. Like, talking to somebody about my abandonment and trust issues and what it felt like to not have my dad be available and present in my life. And so, and speaking of present in my life, that's something related to this whole mental health thing. Like, going to a therapist really helped me to see the importance in my 20s of being present in my life. And, really, that helped me with meditation. That helped me to work out like these abandonment and trust issues that I had. And so, you know, I want to encourage you to go to therapy, you know, talk to somebody, find somebody that you can talk to, that you trust, that you can share your intimate things with, that you're dealing with, because some, you know what, we need each other. We need somebody. And it's okay. You don't have to feel ashamed that you need to talk to somebody. It's just a part of life, you know? And so, so yeah, so those are some of the things that my 20s taught me. I want to hear from you in the comments. Like, what did your 20s teach you? I'll talk to you soon.